Have you ever had a head injury? This week, we are talking about the full armor of God, specifically the helmet of salvation. Why is your head so important? I remember at the beginning of this year, we had the unfortunate incident where my dad got into an accident and he injured his head. It was pretty serious. In fact, when my wife called me and told me that dad had a head injury, I knew everything was coming to a halt wherever I was, and we all made our way to the hospital. And for several months, he was hospitalized, he was admitted, he had an internal injury on the head. And for a while there, he wasn't himself. He could barely remember some things. He was traumatized. He was barely coherent. And all of us were worried as a family, and rightfully so. Because you can live with an injury on any other part of your body, but not your head. Paul, in Ephesians chapter 6, tells us that we must protect our heads with the helmet of salvation. Life teaches you that your most precious possession is right here. This is where decisions are made. This is where choices are made. That's why you must protect your head. In many countries, motorcyclists are supposed to protect their heads. Construction workers are supposed to put on helmets as they go to work. In some contact sports, the helmet is a requirement. Why? Because the head makes all the decisions. This is where the seat of your intellect rests. This is where the fountain of your personality sits. This is the source of all your actions. The helmet of salvation actually emphasizes the genuineness of your faith. Why? Because we believe and we act on our intellect as well as our emotions. Jesus commanded us in Matthew chapter 22 verse 37, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. That means right here, your mind is so critical. That's why the enemy many times targets your mind. Many times the enemy targets your thought processes, because it is from your thought patterns and your thought processes that evil and even sinful actions are conceived. They first begin in the mind. That is why you must at all times put on the helmet of salvation. What does that mean? That means that every place you go, you must remember that you are saved. Ask yourself, what would Jesus do in this situation? What would Jesus think in this situation? What should I be thinking through the eyes of my salvation? The Bible says that we should renew our minds. In the book of Romans, it challenges us that we should offer ourselves as a living sacrifice. How do we do that? By renewing our minds every single day. I want to challenge you. Just like the construction worker, just like the football player, just like the motorcyclist, even though we don't have too many helmets here on our borders, but let it be a reminder that every single day we must put on the helmet of salvation. This is how we're going to ward off the attacks of the enemy. Even in the military, the first and most important equipment is your helmet. Because the helmet will protect you from every bullet the enemy might aim at you. Have a great day.